the sensibilities of Ghanaians. On the campaign trails, they observed that it was difficult for the presidential candidate who was a serving vice president at the time. And this was the first time that situation was occurring in the history of the now opposition New Patriotic Party, to distance himself from his boss, that is the president, President Akufo-Addo, and the rather difficulty that the economic outlook was at the time. So it was difficult for the former president and the former vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to distance himself from Akufo-Addo and the economic outlook that we found ourselves in 2024. The report also went ahead to say that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, they saw him as a candidate who was likely to govern under the influence of the then president Akufo-Addo and his inner circle.
Right. Let's look at the question on the tribe and religion of Mahamudu Bawumia. Did it have any impact on the results? What did the report say?
Okay, so over 95% of respondents emphatically stated that the tribe of the presidential candidate did not affect the fortunes of the party in the 2024 general elections. However, about 5% of the respondents were of the view that the Mamprusi-Kusasi conflict negatively affected the party in the general election, especially in the rural farming constituency where the Kusasis and their ethnic associates exist. Huge numbers in those areas. They voted against Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and this was, I don't think the party saw this coming, but that was the outcome of the elections. In addition, 98% of the respondents indicated that presenting a Muslim candidate as the party's flag bearer did not influence the outcome of the elections. The study revealed that the non-Akan and non-Christian presidential candidacy of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia it was not significant, and that it didn't impact the elections in any way. The Akan population who abstained from voting for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia or who voted against him, according to the report, did not do so because he is non-Akan. So I hope you get that.
Yes.
They didn't vote against him or vote for the now president, John Dramani Mahama. They didn't do so because Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia is non-Akan. So that is with regards to the region from which the vice president hails from. And ironically, majority of respondents from the northern background, they were of the view that traditionally seniority should always be prioritized. As a result, they voted for Mr. Mahama since they consider him to be senior to the then vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So they expect him to go first, and then the now former vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, would follow suit once President Mahama is done serving his 4-year term.
Lateef Idrisu, thank you very much. But let's now seek some expert views on this and speak to a political scientist at the University of Ghana, Dr. Asa Asante. Good evening. Welcome to News Night. Really, we say that in politics or in elections, every vote counts. But one of the startling revelations is that some saw him that if they voted for him, he's going to be a puppet of the former president, Akufo-Addo. From where you sit, do you agree with them?
Absolutely. Because this thing, I have said it, and not me alone. Other scholars have also shared their view on this. But it appeared to me that all fell on deaf ears. So now the cat is already out of the bag, and we are seeing these things. Because from the push of the president and the way we're seeing things, and then the demeanor of the vice president, you had no choice than to conclude that eventually he will be under the thumb of the president. And this Ghanaians detest that. But the party turned a blind eye on that, and they came out forcefully saying all manner of things. If you look at the issue that he ran away from the president relative to the economic problems of this country, that was also I touched base on that. I said it because he was picking and choosing where it suited him. Our vice president, Dr. Bawumia, will quickly rush to that. Where he had difficulty, he ran away and all that. But you were the head of economic management team, for Christ's sake, and that you should be able to defend your president. But you remember the press conference that he held leading to his nomination of his candidature and all that, he titled it what bold solutions, and that he was coming out with all manner of bold solutions and all that. And these were some of the issues that people like us will said that why are you running away from this? Because if there's any glory, you will take. Because politics deals. If you're a political leader, you must be ready for blame and praises, and then at the end of the day, you will find a common ground that will really, deal with the issue. So my vice president shot himself in the foot because if the economy had improved, you would have jumped to it and said that is this. So when you have challenges, all that you need to be able to craft a very good message and then move on. And then most of people who were also managing him had no clue as to how to respond to this because if you see the responses and the things he did, this report has vindicated people like us and those who were thinking along the same wavelength.
Right. The MPP has been perceived to be a non-account party, and they nominated a Northerner for the first time to be the candidate of the party. And from the respondents, at least more than 90% of them said that the tribe of the candidate did not really affect the fortunes of the party in the 2024 general elections. Is this a good sign for the party?
You see, that argument was also flawed because people like us, we have discussed it at length. Because you see, most of the people, I'm sorry, without sounding boastful, that they are not alive to the literature on voter choices in this country. If you have read that carefully, you realize that religion and ethnicity do not play part in any election. Let's look at it this way. If religion and ethnicity were anything to go by, Dr. Bawumia wouldn't have won the primaries because, one, those who contested him were 10, 9, himself making 10. 9 of them were Akans, 7 Ashantis, 2 other Akan groups. So why would they vote for him if ethnicity is anything to go by? What is more, look at the religion. NPP is the Christian-dominated party. So why would they give their vote to what? A Muslim? You realize that people don't look at this. And if you are not aware of these things, you make such hollow statements. Look at even Ghana. Until Dr. Bawumia came into the fray, you realize that the two dominant parties have been led by what? Christians. And Muslims and other traditional believers in this country have voted for those leadership without looking at what religion. So religion is a non-issue. The issue that drives voters crazy, and based on that they vote vehemently for whoever they want to vote, is the issue of the economy. If you don't know this, then obviously you are naive within the political space.
Okay. Dr. Asante is a political scientist. Thank you very much for your time this evening. You're still listening to Newsnight here on Joy 99.7 FM, on Love 99.5 FM in Kumasi, and on over 30 affiliates across the country. Now, the minority in Parliament are calling on President John Mahama to be truthful about the country he inherited from the MPP when he delivers his message on the State of the Nation tomorrow. John Mahama is expected to address Parliament in his maiden State of the Nation address of his second term on Thursday. Now, speaking to journalists in Parliament, the MPP MPs singled out employment, the economy, power crisis as the key issues they expect John Mahama to be candid about.
We have a huge unemployment rate in this country. I'm sure he's going to address that. Not because he inherited that, but because he's creating that through his chief of staff. He signed a letter terminating and revoking the appointment of young Ghanaians that have been appointed into various state institutions. The directive was poor, was bad, was malicious. That is my view about that. In the same vein that the same chief of staff signed letters for people on the 19th of December, employing them even to the highest level of governance in this country. He employed the Shraj boss way in December, the NCCE boss way in December. The Auditor General was on the 19th of December. That is one of the highest positions in this country. Now we have a huge unemployment rate. You can see the TUC's letter admonishing him to rescind that decision that he's made. I'm sure, maybe, probably, tomorrow, I'm expecting that he speaks to that. rescinding that decision that he's made. I think that I'll be glad on that.
Economy that was criminally mismanaged was able to give Ghanaians children free secondary education. Economy that was criminally mismanaged was able to pay allowances to nurses and teachers. Economy that was criminally mismanaged was able to give some infrastructure.
So you had the MP for Mission North, Akwesi Kunedu, MP for Achiman Kwanguma, Kofi Amankwa Menu, and MP for Efija Kwabre North, Collins Adomako Mensa. There, it's now time for business, and George.
You can add Winston to the name. So George, Winston, Yafe.
Yeah, George, can you dance to save your life? Somebody was not able to dance during his vetting today.
The Fanties, is it Upper Tampa? I don't know. Maybe I can try that one in studio. But are we on set right now? If I can do the Upper Tampa dance so that our viewers and listeners would...
Right. What's up in business?
Well, coming up, Energy and Green Transition Minister John Jinapor withdraws directive seeking to unitize oil fields of ENI, Springfield and Vitol. And Ghana posts a record trade surplus for last quarter of 2024, according to a new report coming from the Ghana Statistical Service. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials, Interstanks and Pepsodent Herbal and Charcoal.
Doing good is man's most glorious task. MTN Ghana Foundation unveils 10 outstanding Ghanaians for the finale of MTN Heroes of Change. After receiving thousands of entries, shortlisting and ranking all across Ghana to confirm their various projects, it's time to honor and celebrate these 10 outstanding Ghanaians for the amazing work they've done in their communities in the areas of education, health, and economic empowerment. MTN Heroes of Change Season 7, coming soon on this station and online.
Son, we are so proud of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kingdom Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
Celebrating International Women's Day, Fifi Coleman Productions presents Women at Work. We listen and we judge.
Haba, Haramu, cover yourself. If she does, how will she find market? I'm a brand influencer. Influencer my foot. Also, mommy, what is that? Another name for scam. As if we don't know what she's selling. Women, learn to keep your legs glued tight.
Abba, Madam Gorilla Glue. What would you do if the man you married can't satisfy you sexually? Would you continue faking orgasm?
Hey, this one has overdue.
Starring Rosalyn Ngiza, Gloria Osai-Safo, Mavis Abrokwa, Jacqueline Ansan, Queen Grace Ajeti, and many more. Showing at the National Theatre on 8th and 9th March 2025.
7 p.m. each night.
For tickets, simply dial *714*50# or call 0545-320-062. You can also purchase your tickets at Bachelor Total, Frankie's Osu, Airport Shell, Joy FM, and the National Theatre. This time, men can come.
You're welcome back to Business on Newsnight, and let's settle for the details. Now, the Minister of Energy and Green Transition, John Jinapor, has withdrawn the directive seeking to unitize the fields of ENI, Vitol, and Springfield. There is more in this report.
This was contained in a letter to the Managing Director of ENI Ghana, Country Manager Vitol Upstream Energy, and Springfield Exploration and Production seen by Joy Business. The ministry in that same letter argued that they were forced to take this action because of issues with the original directive by the former Minister of Energy, and also concerns that the directive actually breached the country's laws covering the petroleum sector. The Energy and Green Transition Minister John Jinapor in that same letter seen by Joy Business was however quick to add that the action is without prejudice to the power of the minister to issue new directives upon subsequent evidence. It is, however, not clear for now the implication of this move on the operations of Springfield and even Italian oil exploration firm ENI.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, the National Insurance Commission has indicated that it is taking steps to ensure that the recent hike in motor tariffs doesn't hit transport fares. The Commission earlier this month secured government approval to go ahead to implement the 10% increase in motor insurance tariffs from the 1st of this month. However, there are fears that this could result in transport fares going up. Now, speaking with Joy Business, the acting commissioner of the National Insurance Commission, Dr. Abiba Zakari, said that they are engaging the Ghana private road transport unions and other stakeholders to ensure that development doesn't affect the entire sector before the full rollout.
For us, we are happy to grant their request to improve their limits so that when they suffer through an accident, people suffer because of a motor accident, they can be compensated adequately. And we are happy to do this, even if it means us charging very low, just so that we can support the economy. So we're still in conversations. Let's see how far this goes, and probably maybe in the first quarter of the year.
And that was the Insurance Commissioner speaking with Joy Business at the Ghana Insurance Summit. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, the outgoing president of the Ghana Insurance Association said the class he urged the public not to fall prey for cheap premiums.
One thing we need to tell the insuring public is that it's a fundamental principle of life. We are supposed to be charging a certain premium. Be wary, the people who are giving you low premiums to pay at the time of claim are the ones who are not going to be able to honor their claims. So it's both ways. We keep sensitizing our members, and then we need the insuring public to be aware also that if you pay a small amount of money, your claim will delay and you have to be paid little claims. As said, we are paying about 40% of whatever premiums we are taking out in claims, year in, year out. That is a lot of money.
And Aklasi is the outgoing president of the Ghana Insurance Association, speaking at the Ghana Insurance Summit, which focused on issues of undercutting and its effect on the industry. The country continues to post some strong earnings from its exports for last quarter of 2024. The latest report coming from the Ghana Statistical Service showed that the country recorded a trade surplus of 20.5 billion Ghana cedis. Let's get more on this in the following report.
The surplus came about following 92.9 billion cedis secured from total exports from the fourth quarter of last year, while the country spent 72.4 billion cedis in exports. The 20.5 billion cedis posted in trade surplus represents more than 6 billion cedis recorded in the same period in 2023. In dollar terms, the trade surplus amounted to $10.6 billion. Again, gold was the biggest contributor in terms of the country's earnings for the fourth quarter of last year, accounting for about 53.6%. However, in terms of imports, diesel came up as the top expenditure in terms of the total amount spent on imports, as the country spent 7.2 billion cedis.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, the Ghana cedi is still sustaining its good run against the US dollar. Development has even resulted in some banks not taking up all the auction that the Bank of Ghana sells on the market through their various auction products. It is not clear for now what is causing this, but some have also argued that some of these banks still need more Ghana cedis to purchase these dollars, and they don't want to lock up their liquidity in getting these dollars when the demand is not there. If you look at the interbank market, it is going for some 15 Ghana cedis, 55 pesos to the US dollar. And that's all for business on Newsnight. Let's do sports. And Musbao is here.
Yeah, George. Well, the Central Regional Athletics Super Zonal competition is kicking off tomorrow at the Cape Coast Stadium. Schools Disadel, Infantipims, and Gestons will be locking horns in that competition, which is expected to run throughout the weekend. Well, my colleague Natana Lato, Joy Sports editor, is at the Cape Coast Stadium and has update on preparations so far ahead of the big event tomorrow.
This is a traditional sports competition where most of the talents that eventually become national stars are developed. We can also talk about the age-long rivalry between Infantipims School and St. Augustine's College. Well, Infantipims School overpowered St. Augustine's College and won the Zone 3 championships and are coming in with a lot of confidence. We can also talk about Adisadel College, who won the Zone 1 competition and are coming here to prove that they are the true champions. Of course, we do not really see Wesley Girls and Holy Child establishing the dominance that we've known them for. That dominance has been taken over by Edinaman Senior High School, and they have to be watched out greatly when the competition begins here at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. So it's all ready to go. The pitch is looking lush green for all of the field action, and the stands will be filled with students who are eagerly wanting to support their respective athletes to reach for the top. We will be here to bring you all of the records when they are set and all of the big moments when they happen.
Well, similarly in Kumasi, the event will be kicking off and we'll bring you updates on the athletics super zonal competitions that's taking place among the senior high schools. Well, just to wrap up, though, some big games coming up in the Premier League tonight, and Brentford will be hosting Everton, and Manchester United will be playing Ipswich Town. Nottingham Forest will play Arsenal as Arsenal look to come back from that loss against West Ham over the weekend. Well, Spurs will be hosting Manchester City, and Erling Haaland returns to the Manchester City squad after missing out due to injury. League leaders Liverpool will be hosting Newcastle United. Big game that Ancelot will not be on the bench after he was fined following the exchange he had with the match officials in the game against Everton. So that's that. We'll bring you updates of those games and the post-game reactions on Sports Center tomorrow. Well, Ken, I'm sure you'll be looking forward to the games. You're a United fan, so you're playing Ipswich Town.
I hope they win anyway.
Yeah, come on. You have to
How
win
about your
against-
team, though?
Oh, we won yesterday.
Title
against,
pretenders.
We won.
Chelsea.
Chelsea won yesterday against Southampton 4-0.
Okay.
So, yeah, they're in top 4 now. So all is
Good
well.
luck. Okay.
All is well. All is well.
All right, thank you very much, Musbah, for bringing us sports. Let's bring you more stories tonight. And the Center for Strategic Philanthropy and Social Investment at Pentecost University, Philanthropy Ghana, and the Multimedia Group have signed a memorandum of understanding to expand the Joy News Impact Makers Awards. This strategic partnership seeks to elevate small philanthropic organizations by providing them with greater visibility, recognition, and support. By strengthening media-driven philanthropy and fostering global networks, the initiative will highlight the crucial contributions of grassroots changemakers. Joy News' Elsie Esieduwa Kisiedu witnessed the signing ceremony and filed this report.
The new partnership among 3 key organizations, Center for Strategic Philanthropy and Social Investment at Pentecost University, Philanthropy Ghana, and the Multimedia Group's Joy News, aims to expand the reach and impact of the Joy News Impact Makers Awards. The Memorandum of Understanding will foster greater collaboration in media philanthropy, amplify global philanthropy stories, and strengthen international networks. Speaking to Joy News at the signing ceremony, Board Chairman of SEPSI, Apostle Dr. Christian Chekbo, emphasized the significance of the partnership.
We have met to sign MOUs so that we can work in partnership with one another to see how we can support each other and grow philanthropy, not only in Ghana, but in the whole of the West Africa sub-region. And we think that it's an important event because it's going to determine the future of many young people and even institutions in Ghana and Africa. Is going to determine development projects. We know that there are many young people who who have skills, they have ideas.
The collaboration marks a major step in recognizing and empowering thousands of selfless Ghanaians who dedicate their lives to transforming their communities and driving national development. MFA Atiamwa Eli, coordinator for strategic partnerships and projects at Joy Brands, expressed optimism about the future of the award scheme, citing the alliance as a catalyst for growth and increased impact. Representing the multimedia group, General Manager of Joy Brand, Francis Fifi Kumsen, and Channel Manager for Joy News, Kweku Owusu-Pepra, signed the MOU. Signing on behalf of the Pentecost University SEPSI were Board Chairman Apostle Dr. Christian Chekpo and Acting Director Reverend Emmanuel Malfo. Madam Yaira Atiso, Executive Director of Philanthropy Ghana, also signed on behalf of her organization.
And in our climate focus tonight, access to climate funding remains a major hurdle for organizations tackling global warming in Ghana. Despite urgent needs, many civil society organizations struggle to secure resources for impactful projects. To address this, the Hatoff Foundation is providing specialized training to help CSOs navigate climate finance challenges, secure funding, and implement resilience building initiatives. Mohammed Nuruddin has more.
Africa is one of the most climate vulnerable regions globally, experiencing a faster rise in surface temperatures than the global average, alongside more unpredictable weather patterns. According to the World Meteorological Organization's 2022 report, these events have caused significant loss of life and billions of dollars in economic damages. The IPCC in 2022 said a large portion of the population in sub-Saharan Africa works in climate-sensitive sectors like agriculture, making them even more susceptible to the impacts of climate change. Professor Nana Ama-Kloche is a lead author contributing to the IPCC SIF assessment report.
We already have the impact of climate change that is huge on Africa and many vulnerable communities, especially in Africa. And so we should do our best to help mitigate the issue of global warming.
This is where the training for civil society organizations in Ghana becomes crucial. Participants are learning not just theory of climate finance, but practical approaches to developing, monitoring, and implementing climate change projects. Ransford Nisaki is from CASA.
With this program, I've learned how to be able to connect our project with both national and international policies and treaties.
Another participant, Paulina, who is also from RAIN, shares her experience.
I know different funding organizations have their own criteria. So if you are able to know, especially with the GCF, we are able to know their criteria, how we can go about it, then we'll be able to target any proposal that we write towards them so that we'll be able to get funding to support our projects.
Samuel Duce is the Chief Executive Officer of Hatoff Foundation.
Globally, Climate Focus is brought to you by Joy News in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
Away from climate focus, a district court has remanded Samuel Ejay into police custody after he was charged with the murder of Laurentia Nabole Nelson during an installment ceremony in Ungwa on the 22nd of February 2025. In a statement from the Ghana Police Service, the suspect shot the victim, who later died at the hospital. My colleague Michael Ashali joins me in studio with details of that statement. Michael, let's start with the charges that have been slapped on the suspect.
Well, the suspect, Samuel Ejay, we understand, has been charged with 2 counts of unlawful possession of firearms and murder.
And what more details has the police been sharing?
Well, the suspect allegedly discharged a live ammunition from a single barrel gun, striking the victim in the thigh. Despite being rushed to the hospital for treatment, Nabole Nelson succumbed to her injuries. The case, we understand, presided over by her worship Georgette Camel Lorette, has been adjourned to March 12, 2025 to allow for further investigations and the submission of the docket to the Office of the Attorney General for advice, Ken.
Thank you very much, Michael. And the Food and Drugs Authority says it has imposed comprehensive regulatory sanctions on pharmaceutical companies implicated in the BBC Africa Eye opioid expose. In a 9-page statement responding to the expose, the FDA said it acknowledges the proliferation of opioids in Ghana may be far more extensive than previously reported. And the authority has also outlined its crackdown on the illicit trade, including seizures and prosecutions in collaboration with the National Security and other agencies. And Michael, let's briefly touch on this response from the FDA. Tell us what it says.
Well, the FDA says through its own surveillance work, it truncated the supply of significant quantities of tramadol and other opioids to the public in various interagency operations. The FDA reports seizing 287,011 units of tramadol, 8,000 units of Trafadol, and 2,000 units of Tramadol from border posts and unauthorized sellers. None had manufacturer details, and 6 individuals are currently facing prosecution for illegal opioid distribution. Ken, that's what we gathered from the FDA.
Once again, Michael, and that's it for now. But before we go, though, Akofa is already in the studio looking beautiful as always, bringing us strong and sassy. Akofa, what are we discussing tonight?
Kenneth, Gyasi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay as well. So today we are opening our conversation up, and that has to do with a few of our listeners sending us very interesting and wild stories that we would want to open it up to other listeners out there to also share their thoughts on. And we are joined in the studio by amazing guests, and so they will also weigh in on the conversation as well. Trust me, it is going to be a big one.
I trust it will. Thank you very much. Akofa comes right after this. Thank you for being a part of the show. My name is Kenneth, Gyasi.